Hello, dear friends. It's me again. Today we're going to be talking about rejection, why it happens, and how to cope with it when it does. So, sit back and listen up.
Welcome to the Cube with Brian D. Anderson.
Now, you may be thinking that because you're an indie, that you don't deal with rejection. You don't have to receive those letters from the agents and publishers saying they don't want your book. That's not really true. The letters you receive come in the form of reviews or emails from dissatisfied readers, and it will happen. I don't care how good you are, this is going to happen to you. And how you deal with it will sort of paint a picture of what your life as a writer is going to be like. But we'll deal with the reviews in a minute. For now, we're going to dive off into why you get rejected by agents and publishers. Now, one of the most hurtful and common reasons for rejection is that your skills aren't where they need to be. Your writing skills haven't reached a certain level yet. Now, this can tear your heart out. It can make you angry, depressed, all sorts of negative emotions will flood in the moment you read that rejection letter and it says, I'm sorry, but you need more work as a writer. Oh man, there's almost nothing worse. But if you take that and rather than let it beat you down, use it to lift you up and become a better writer as a result, then it's a win. Now, it's important to remember that whoever your favorite writer is, hopefully it's me, but whoever that favorite writer that you just emulate and would love to be like, whoever it is, started out their skills way below where they ended up. And the same goes with any writer that you can name off. So, even though it is the most hurtful reason for rejection, it is by far not the worst. Now, another reason that is less hurtful is that your query letter wasn't good enough. You didn't grab the agent or editor's attention from the beginning, and you weren't able to interest them. And they got about two lines in, said nope, boom, off to the side. And it's usually that quick. Remember, agents and editors get hundreds upon hundreds of queries. So in a previous video, I did discuss that you need to grab their attention in the first couple lines. So that's another common reason that you just didn't grab their attention with your query letter. Let's say there's nothing wrong with your query letter. Say it's fantastic. Say it's attention grabbing from Jump Street, and it was great enough for the agent or editor to keep reading. Well, they may have another book similar to yours that they're trying to either, if it's an agent that the agent's trying to sell to a publisher, or if it's an editor that the editor's currently working on and getting ready for publication. So through no fault of your own, you're getting rejected. And the only thing you can really do about that is just keep submitting to different agents and editors. So that's not something you can control. You may be writing in a genre that agents and editors aren't able to sell. The agent may look at it and say, hey, you're writing vampire books. Nobody's buying vampire books, so there's nothing I can do. It doesn't matter how good a vampire book it is. And editors the same way. We can't publish this. We've already published 20 vampire books, and the market's dead for that. Now, the good news, if that happens, is that self-publishing is a very good option for you. Where the market may be dead in the traditional world, there still may be a strong market in indie for you. So that type of rejection isn't the worst. It's when you don't have options. Now, you could possibly shelve your book and wait for it to come back around again, because it will. I mean, vampire books may be out now, but they come back. You know, that's had Anne Rice selling the crap out of vampire books for a while. They faded out. Then comes Twilight, and more vampire books came out. And now they're faded out, so, you know, wait long enough and there'll be some more vampire books coming out. Or, like I said, you can self-publish. It's important to understand something about the people who work in the publishing industry. Whether it's agents, editors, market professionals, publicists, any of them. They're just people. They have bad days. They have trouble at home. They have tragedy befall their lives. They spill coffee on their shirt, you know, at lunch, and have to walk around all day with, you know, big coffee stain on the front. Anything, all these things that happen, all the things that happen to you that make you have a miserable day, these things happen to these people. And if they're not having a good day and they pick up your manuscript or your query letter or whatever, they might not be very receptive, and that can be a reason for rejection. Now, that's just luck of the draw right there. And there's, again, nothing you can do about it but keep submitting. Now, for indies, one of the problems can be you have a previously published work. Now, this may not be a problem for an agent, depending on the agent, but it's often going to be a big problem for the publishers. They want something new. They don't want something that you've already published. Now, this is not, you know, set in stone. I know, you know, friends of mine, Mitch Hogan, published with Harper Voyager a previously published work. So did Michael J. Sullivan. They re-edited and published his series with Orbit. Anthony Ryan is another. There are examples of this, but it's not common. It's, you know, typically they want something new from you, and if you're trying to submit something that you've self-published, you're going to run into a lot of roadblocks. It's going to be really tough. Again, not impossible, just tough. Now, I told you at the beginning of the video that I would be covering how to deal with bad reviews. This applies to everybody, but I'm directing it mostly at the indies because this is the type of rejection that indies get, primarily. You're going directly to the reader and you're getting feedback directly from the reader. Now, when you get a bad review, and you will, it's important how you deal with it. It will set the tone for your entire indie career, and I'm not exaggerating. If you fly off the handle and start responding to these reviews, you're starting a war that you cannot win. You will be lambasted and one-starred until nobody will look at your book. You have to ignore it. Now, I know it's going to be hurtful. Let me tell you, the first time I received a bad review, I remember it as clearly as I remember the day I got my agent. That's how much it stands out. I didn't want to hear nothing from nothing. I'd received 20 reviews up to that point, all of them stellar. And it seems funny now, but I got that review and it just raked me over the coals. It raked my writing ability, my storytelling ability, just everything about the book. Just said horrible things about it. And I didn't want to hear nothing from nobody. I mean, for like 3 days, I was depressed. I was completely unprepared emotionally for that kind of rejection and that kind of criticism. You know, I mean, it's different than most other types of criticism because this is something about your talent and about who you are, and you put it out there. And to have that smacked around is shocking. So finally, I dragged my butt up off the couch and sat down in front of the computer. And I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I clicked on the Fellowship of the Rings, one of the first book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I looked at the 1-star reviews. I felt better immediately. People were saying horrible things about Tolkien. I mean, just nasty things about Tolkien. They called him all sorts of names and said horrible things about his writing. I'm like, well, you know what? If people say that about Tolkien, who am I to think that it's not going to happen to me? So I was okay with it. Now, maybe being okay with it's a bit of an exaggeration, but I was better able to deal with it. So remember, it's going to happen. Be prepared. Don't overreact. It doesn't matter what they say. Just let it roll off your back. Move on. That's a few of the primary reasons why a book gets rejected. There are others, but hopefully that gave you a better understanding of what goes on behind the scenes and reasons for books not being taken on by editors and agents. So, until next time, this is Brian D. Anderson, and this is The Q. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the links below. And tell your friends. I want to get to 100 followers. Well, I want to get to 100,000 followers, but 100 would be great. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next time.